number 3, and it is how to cut a lob. A lot of people struggle with this haircut because it's not too short, it's not too long, it's right in between, it's really texturized and pretty. And Shelby's the perfect model because look at her long hair. It's a mess, she needs it done. So we are going to be cutting. Kira? Sorry. Anyway, like I was saying, she has really long hair. It is pretty healthy and pretty long, but she does have some dry dead ends. So we're gonna get those off, give her a nice texturized lob. Her after is gonna be beautiful, so stay tuned if you're interested in learning how to cut this haircut. For this haircut, I will be using my Hattori Hanzo shears, texturizer, and razor, and my Sam Via cutting combs. You are only as good as the tools you use, and it is so important to use tools that really enhance your talent and will give you a good, clean cut. Okay, you guys, so we have seen a few videos floating around of people who think they can cut this haircut at home, and not to put anyone down, but there are some clients who think that they can do these things at home, and if you can, you are very talented and we're proud of you, but we just kind of wanted to demonstrate why it's not a good idea and it's best to trust a professional when it comes to things like this. So, Shelby, will you demonstrate a haircut at home?
Yes.
I just want to put a disclaimer out there, Shelby is a licensed hairdresser, but for the sake of the video, she's a client.
Yes. Oh my gosh, my hairstylist doesn't know how to cut hair. Let me cut it. Okay. Hi. Oh, okay, it's right there. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my gosh. Breathe. Oh, I'm so good. Oh my gosh, that doesn't look good. What did I do? Uh-oh.
Oh shoot, it's uneven.
Oh crap, it's so uneven.
Oh
what
my
did I
gosh.
do? Now I have to pay for a haircut.
Look at that. So choppy. Crap.
Doesn't look.
Yeah, it looks uneven. So I guess she does need to go to a professional and get her hair done. So let's stay tuned for this transformation. Woo! Washed and toned her, and now we are going to get cutting. I wanted to talk about with haircuts like this or any haircut in general, consultation is key. Client's freaking out, so let's ask her what she wants. So tell me what you're thinking with this haircut. What are you expecting lengthwise? Do you like texture? Do you like blunt ends?
Yes, so I want it to be blunt and textured.
Okay.
I do know my hair though, and I know that it doesn't work well with a razor.
Okay.
So if you could try to get that look with shears, that would be best.
Okay.
I want length to be right here when it's, about right here when it's dry.
Okay.
So maybe just anyways, you know, because you're the professional and I'm not. So just right above boob.
Okay.
And then I want subtle layers in the front, like texture, but I want it a little, the layers to go a little higher in the back.
Edgier in the back because there's more weight.
But more subtle and blunt in the front.
Perfect. Great. So now that we are consulted, we are going to get going with cutting her baseline. Okay, so I'm just going to start by evening out her baseline after that initial chop that we just did. It's really important if your client has somewhat thick hair or even medium textured hair to part it into clean sections. If she has dense hair at all, you want to make sure that you work from the bottom of the head up. If the hair is finer, you can sometimes cut it in one section, but with cuts like this, it's just really easy to work with smaller sections, as you can see that I'm doing here. So I'm just taking that hair and separating it left, right, and middle. And I'm going to take her hair right here in the middle section and cut a baseline. And it's really important to make sure that your client is always sitting flat in their chair, legs uncrossed, make sure they're not moving too much because that can really affect the way you cut. Okay, and now I'm going to take that right side and meet it in the middle here and cut the baseline. So I am directing those side pieces back to the middle because we kind of want an A-line type look. We're not necessarily doing like a short stacked A-line, but with a lob, it is a little bit longer in front. So you want to over direct back, cut your baseline, and then check your corners. So now I'm going around to the front, evening it out a little bit, but I do want to make sure it's a little bit longer in the front, which is why I initially cut it in the back of the head. And now I've let that top layer down, and I'm actually going to twist it a few times, as you can see here, Twisting the hair gives you more elevation. It's going to give you a little more layering, a little more of that A-line look. I don't know if any of you have ever cut like straight across bangs where you want them to taper around the face, but if you twist the bangs a few times, it'll lay in that perfect crescent moon shape. And I want something similar for the back of her head since I want it to be shorter, going longer in the front. So if I just take my hands, twist it a few times, then do my baseline, when you separate the hair, you'll see that it does that perfect curve. I know that my camera wasn't super close up, so you can't really see, but it's like the perfect little trick for getting an A-line towards the back of the head. And then as you can see right here, I'm taking that right side, directing it towards the back, cutting my baseline, and then I will let it fall forward and check my lines. Another little trick is using your comb as your angle guide and cutting directly under it. And right here as I'm checking my baseline, I found a little corner that's a little longer than I would like it to be, so I'm just going to even it out right about here. And this is how I like to check my baseline. I start in the back and I work my way slowly forward. So my first section will be checking between the back and the shoulder blade, then directly over the shoulder, then from the middle of the shoulder to the front, slowly working my way to the very last section up front. That way you can check all of the corners and make sure your angles are meeting up. And as I'm checking my baseline across the head, I make sure that my fingers aren't just lined up perfectly straight. They are always angled downward. So it's in the angle that I want the A-line to stay at. That way I'm cutting so the hair lays exactly how I want it to. Now I'm just going to check both sides, make sure they're matching up and even, and then we'll get going with the fun texturizing and layering. A good way to check your work is to grab two sections that are across from each other and meet them in the middle. That way you know you're always even and everything's lining up great. So I just work my way around the head doing that. Now that my baseline is done, I'm going to focus on adding texture, elevation, layering, all to the back of her hair. So as you can see here, I twisted a few more times and I'm just notching into it a little bit by point cutting. This is just going to give us a little more texture in the back, make it a teeny bit shorter. As you heard her say in the consultation, she wants more layers in the back of her hair, less in the front. So that's what we're doing here. As you can see, I'm kind of a perfectionist. I keep going over her angles and her lines in the haircut a million times, but I just want to make sure that this baseline is really perfect, especially as I'm adding more texture into the hair. With these type of haircuts, you kind of have to be a perfectionist and a little bit OCD, because if she moves her head the wrong way, you could see a piece of hair that you didn't cut right. So you have to just make sure that you're constantly double checking, triple checking this haircut, because it can have a lot of movement and that can affect the lines. Okay, now that her base is finally perfect, we're going to go add in some fun layers. So, like we said before, she wants more texture and layering in the back of the head. So as you can see here, I'm doing these pie-shaped sections and I am combing it very, very flat. You want to make sure that this is very combed out. You have no pulling in the hair, no hair that's not combed perfectly straight. That's super, super important. And I am just combing that through, lifting up directly from the head and cutting off about 2 inches. This is a little trick I learned in a cutting class. This is called the Victoria's Secret Beachy Layering Waved Haircut. So it was a guy who taught us how to get that like sexy texturized look that all the Victoria's Secret angels are famous for. In hair school, we learn a lot about 45 degrees, 90 degrees, and those things are really great, but you kind of want to take those lessons and make them your own. So I like to take these pie sections and cut directly off the head. I'm not necessarily doing
90 degrees, 45 degrees. I'm just following the shape and curve of her head, and as her head changes, I'm going to follow that curve and just cut based off of that, if that makes sense. The camera's cutting off what I'm doing, but I am point cutting these layers because I don't want them to be too blunt and harsh against the rest of her hair. So as I lift it up from the head, I'm just point cutting into them and then letting it fall, and that's going to give us a really natural texturized look. Clean, even partings are the key to this haircut, or any haircut in general. You want to make sure that you're being very OCD about it, because clean, even partings are going to be the key to success when cutting. You want to make sure that you're doing everything very, very smoothly. Okay, and sorry about the lower quality here, but my camera battery just died, so this is actually just filmed on my iPhone for this part. So as you can see, I am now doing the layers around the front of the face, and since I'm not in the back of the head anymore, I am not taking the hair and cutting it directly out of the head. I am over-directing a lot. So as you can see here, over-directing across the head, taking off a couple of inches. This is going to give us layering, but it's long layers, so it's a little more texturized, not as choppy as the back. Not that the back was choppy, but it is more textured in the back. But as she said, she wants less layering in the front, so this is going to give us a softer appearance around the face. And now that the layers are cut, I kind of like to pick them back up again and slide cut down them. This just kind of softens the lines and blends it into the rest of the haircut. Alright, and since my camera battery died, I wasn't able to get what I do to finish off the haircut, which is after I'm done layering, I just take my texturizing shears and notch into the bottom of the hair, just kind of point cutting to soften any lines and break it up a little bit. Sometimes I will use the razor, but she did tell me that her hair doesn't react well to the razor, so I just did that. Point cutted with my shears, point cutted with my texturizing shears, and then it was perfect. I really love the way this turned out. As you can see, she has really bouncy, fun layers, and I really love that her hair just did what I wanted it to.
Whoa, I just choked. Blooper. Okay, you guys, this is the finished result. We have a really cute, fun, texturized lob. It's not too short, which is why we really love this. A lot of people think or hear lob and they think short hair. That is not the case. This is a very sexy, fun, flirty mid-length, and we love it because it has a lot of texture throughout it. In the consultation, you heard her telling me that she wanted more layering throughout the back so that the back kind of had like some weight taken off, more texture here, and then longer towards the front. So that's what we did, is we added some layers throughout the back, and then as we got towards the front, we tapered down on the layering and made it kind of like a long A-line, if you will. So, what do you think, Shelb?
I love it.
Are you glad you trusted a professional?
Yes, I'm so happy.
So cute. So if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and make sure you let me know what you want to see in future videos. Have a good day, you guys.
Just wanted to throw out a reminder that this is just how I cut this particular lob. Since this was my beauty school series, I wanted to keep it a little more simple without too many steps. If you cut hair differently, if you have any tips or tricks for me, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.